What's cracking, everybody? XehrFelrose here, bringing you some Pokemon Go Battle League content. Today's video, boy, we got a banger for you. We got the top team on PVPoke slaying the Great League. We went on there on the website, PVPoke.com. If you don't use it, it's a great resource for PvP and all things about it. And you can go to the train page on the top where the menu is and go to the top performers, and you scroll down a bit, you'll see the top teams. And this one was on top, and I can see why. The team consists of the Dugong, my trusty legacy Dugong that I've had, and it does not have a ghost type Icy Wind. My goodness, that would be broken. But Dugong has been a tried and true Pokemon for me for seasons at this point, and I'm just very comfortable with it. It's one of those things, especially if you guys have one, I would definitely recommend building it if you have a good ranked one, because this thing is just incredibly good and just very consistent in what it does. But the second Pokemon on this team is going to be Galarian Corsola. Yawn, I know, it's Corsola, but still, trust me, it's still good if you can have a decent one. Even look at my IVs. They're not amazing. They're not perfect, but they're good enough. And then to round out the team as our safe switch, we're going to have that Shadow Kanto Marowak. I'm making two mistakes already, but we're too far in to stop now. Shadow Kanto Marowak on this team here in the Great League. Let's check out these games here as we go. And I'm telling you, it's instant 5-0 with this team. As soon as we started, it was a 5-0. So we're gonna sit through that set first, and we're gonna be getting the Marowak here on the safe swap. It's a kind of a neutral matchup for Dugong, but like I have two better answers in the back. So I'm gonna switch to my Marowak, and we're gonna draw out the Gastrodon, and this is flippable for me. So I would prefer to have Corsola on the Toxapex, because Toxapex's brines don't do very much, and it's resisted poison damage. It's just a better overall matchup rather than having to worry about Dugong into the poison type. So I actually make a mistake here. I didn't realize that I actually lose this cap tie, as you would think that the mean Shadow Kanto Marowak would win that charge attack priority tie, but Gastrodon, the big fat slug, does indeed win it. So we make a mistake, but hey, we learn for later. The opponent shields up the Bone Club here, and we're able to get switch advantage now, putting our Dugong onto their Kanto Marowak, knowing that I have a dominant answer in the Corsola here. Now here, I just kind of read that they were going to make a switch in to the Toxapex here, so I just went ahead and jumped into my Corsola. That was kind of an opponent read, kind of thinking what they were going to do, but either way, it was a pretty safe play to go into the Corsola there, because the opponent had very little HP left, and like at that point, I have my Dugong on this, I have my Dugong on their Marowak, so I have a good place to put this energy no matter what. So I'm going to get my Corsola out here and put them in a position where they have to bring in the Toxapex. We're going to farm over here, going for 3 and then the move, and that's going to be our good timing into these 2-turn moves with 3-turn move user. You would have thought I would have read Fox and Socks to the kids tonight with how many freaking tongue twisters I've had in the last 2 minutes. Anyway, we're going to be going for this Icy Wind here. The opponent does have a shield, but I think they realize that they lose, and that's going to be a good game. Well played. I think all of these were good games, to be honest. Like, every single one of these was really close. So shout outs to the opponents that we faced on this on these sets. Now, I only had time for 2 sets when I played. So that's kind of why I just only have the 2. I was thinking about trying to play for a better third one, but I'm like, you know what? The second set, even though it's a 2-2-1 set, it's still incredible games against people that know what they're doing, and I wanted to show you guys how awesome those games were. So we're going to be able to get the 2 Rock Slides here. I'm going to force shields or take away this Dugong's HP. Even though they did hit us with Icy Wind, we still would do a lot of damage with the Rock Slide, and they actually let this go. This puts this in a perfect farm down range for my Dugong. Even though Dugong doesn't appreciate being in a matchup with Annihilate straight up, if I get to load up on an Icy Wind, my opponent is also throwing Icy Wind here, trying to debuff the damage that we're going to do. So I'm kind of just thinking that I'll probably just dip into my Corsola here. But what I want to do first is I want to stay in for just a little bit, just to make sure they come in with it. And they do. And so now we're going to get our Corsola in, and there's a freaking Bastiodon. Look at him! He's so tiny! Itty bitty! Itty bitty Basti with a binky. Give me bottle, baby, Binky Basti. Oh my god, it's so small. I've never seen a Basti that small, dude. It's pint-sized. Anyway, we just need to manage our shield here. I can tank the first move, but the smackdowns are heading up. So what I want to try to do here is I want to see if I can get a move off with Corsola into the opponent's Annihilate. So I do need to keep it alive here, even if I'm in the red health. I'm not worried about their fast moves, because they're really not going to have any fast move pressure here. So I'm going to build up the 2 Nightshades here, so that if the opponent shields, I can quickly get rid of their Bastiodon. Or if they let this go, I can save this, but I actually go... I tried to throw it, and I realized it wasn't throwing, so I panicked and went to swap into Dugong instead. So the opponent throws Ice Punch here. Now, if they had thrown Close Combat, we would have possibly been in trouble, but at the same time, their defense would have been dropped. We have energy on Corsola, so I think we still would have won this game. But we're able to get to 2 moves here because we had the energy lead from before when we farmed up. So I'm saying, even though it doesn't appreciate this matchup, Dugong, it still does fine because of the fact that those icy winds and ice shards add up. So if you get a shield advantage, or even, not even shield, HP advantage here, it does well. We have the move locked and loaded on Corsola, regardless of whether or not they had a move. I didn't want to chance anything, so I just went straight for the Nightshade to take him out, and that's going to be a good game. Well played to the opponent. This Corsola has, even though my Corsola IVs are not amazing, this thing has been surprisingly strong when I've used it, as long as we keep it off of the Diggersbees. So Dunsparce in this next game, and I really only have one answer. Dunsparce does kind of core break this team quite a bit. Thankfully, Dunsparce is usually in the back, so it's not going to be a big deal. You could just put your Marowak on it, and you can win the straight 0 shields, but if you try to overfarm the Dunsparce, we'll probably be able to get, they'll get to a move before you do, as they do have the same pacing, 4-3, as your Bone Clubs. Unfortunately, just if you're behind energy, that's just how it is. But you can tank 2 moves quite comfortably. As long as they let a Bone Club in, you can go for the full farm down, and then we're going to be able to get a move up. But I thought they were going to come back in with the other thing. That's a Drift Blim, and they shield it anyway, and I try to go for a Rock Slide, and I can't get there. So in reality, I was not... In reality, they should have snuck an Astonish through when I threw that move, and I'd have thrown the Rock Slide. Okay, they would have had 1 less shield, but it's fine. But I threw the Bone Club, and I'm just thankful that they shielded at this point. So we're gonna actually come in here with the Corsola, because I have Dugong for their other Pokemon, which is gonna be fine. And Astonishes are gonna hit much harder, and I feel better about shielding this than I would anything else so far. So they full send the Shadow Ball. It was a Cap Tie I had thrown right as they got to their move, and we are able to get the KO. So they don't have anything else left in the game at this point. I'm going to go for the Nightshade here, try and get a shield, and if I don't get the shield, that's fine, because it's going to do enough damage to put this thing down in a range where these Ice Shards are going to be able to knock out. I still have a shield for a Rock Slide. They don't have a shield left. We're going to get off this Icy Wind after the Cap Tie, and that's going to be a good game to this opponent here now. Oh, man, I'm telling you, these games were super close. That game could have gone a completely different way, but we were able to take it, thank goodness. Good game to the opponent. We're getting into the next battle here. We're going to have Dugong on the lead versus Wigglytuff. The thing of my nightmares. Wigglytuff and stuff. Sort Wigglesworth at it again, but we're going to be going for the Icy Wind as soon as we get to it to lessen the damage, and the opponent makes a really nice catch onto Dugong. So what we're going to do here is we're going to take advantage of the fact that they have brought in Dugong, and we're going to actually just bring in Corsola to get as much value out of it as we can. We also really don't have another way to deal with this, so this is the one play that makes the most sense right now. Put the Corsola here with the winning matchup with that Power Gem, and just try to either use Dugong or Marowak later in the game to take care of the Wigglytuff. Now, because they switch, I have to imagine there's probably something in the back that's going to do okay against Dugong, so if I can maintain switch here, that's preferable. Opponent's going to go for the Icy Wind, and they come back in with the Wigglytuff. They hard swap in the Digglybuff. The Digglyhoof? The Hoolywoof? The Hoolituff. In comes the Dugong, and I'm going to go ahead and shield this move, even if it's a Swift. I would like to prefer to keep Dugong on this thing, because I really don't want to have to take all that fast move damage on my Marowak. Those charms will add up very quickly, and I don't know what's in the back. Could be anything. And Marowak's a pretty safe Pokemon here, so we're going to roll with it. Opponent is going to be trying to get to another move here, and they do just before we get to the Icy Wind. Very good counting by the opponent. They could have gone for one more if they wanted to, because they do win CMP there, but they're going to go for the Icy Wind instead. So we're going to Ice Shard down as low as we can before we get taken out, so that we're not going to give anything any farm here. And then I'm going to be able to keep my Corsola if they decide to let this go, which they do. They have the Diggersby, though, and now I wish I had kept some HP. Now Marowak is going to have to clutch it up against the Diggersby here, so we're going to be going for these Bone Clubs pretty much after... Well, I wanted to go on good timing. I knew they were going to get to a Scorching Sands. I have Corsola to swap to if I get debuffed, which is nice. There's probably going to be a swap to catch the move, and there it is, but I don't want to let them get to a move here, and I don't remember how much energy they had when they swapped out, so I'm forced to bring in my Corsola here. And that's a bit of a problem, because the opponent can farm this down a lot. They resist every charged move here, and they have a shield available. They're not looking like they're going to be able to farm down here They could have, I think, but they would have had to take another charge move or shield, which I think is what they were trying to avoid. So Fire Punch here is going to go ahead and take out the Corsola. They're going to throw a move, and at this point, I've got 2 Bone Clubs and then some. If I don't get debuffed, we're good. No debuff is here. We're going to be going for the Bone Club, as the opponent would have to shield this, where they'll be very, very low. They let it go. Can we get to the farm down? Yes, we do. No living on 1 HP. We're taking it out with Marowak, and that's going to be a good game. Well played. I'm pretty sure they were at a Fire Punch right when they went down. We get a really tough lead in the next game here. Malamar is a problem, but hold on to your seats, folks, because we are going to be navigating this game like champions. We're going to be going in with the Icy Wind. The opponent deciding not to throw right away. That's fine. I'm going to go ahead and get this Icy Wind in, and I'm thinking about maybe swapping because it's debuff, but I also don't. I'm going to shield this anyway. Because if it's superpower, then I can't risk all that damage when they're staying in like this. I'm hoping that maybe they have something in the back that is poison, and most often Malamars will have a poison in the back. So getting Corsola on this, I would normally have pivoted into Marowak here, but Corsola is able to tank this damage so much better and is going to be able to do a little bit more here in this matchup. And then we also are going to be able to have some energy at the end of this matchup to be able to do some damage back to the Malamar when it comes back in. Now, that's the ideal thing here, because I would like to be able to keep some HP handy for this thing so that I'm forcing the Malamar to throw energy, so it's not going to be able to throw it into my Dugong. And preferably, I'm going to be putting my Marowak, now that I have Switch, onto the opponent's... Gosh darn... We have some bad luck here, though. The opponent comes up with a Diggersby, and I'm incensed and furious now that they've caught this move on their darn Diggersby, which is a great play, but I'm going to actually pivot into my Marowak. Now that I've seen their entire team, I can totally just get my Marowak in here. It has play into both the Pokemon that are here, and honestly, Dugong is going to also do just fine now that we can put it onto the Diggersby when this goes down. I'm going to save the shield for whatever's left here. I don't know what the play is exactly right off the top of my head here, but I'm gonna try to like save the shield and use it sensibly. And right now feels like the best time to use it, so I'm gonna go ahead and go into my Corsola, force the opponent to throw this energy here, and save a move on my Dugong. We're going to get the foul play off. We're going to also be able to farm down this Malamar before it can get to another move, thankfully, and we just need to get to 2 Icy Winds to take out the Diggersby. We're going to be at 1 here. The opponent had just thrown energy and swapped, so they should, in fact, be dry. So they're not going to be able to get to the Scorching Sands because we're going to get to the Icy Wind in time, and we're going to be able to take this game as if they even... I think that was a CMP tie, but even still, we take those. Dugong getting clutched here in this game. Well played. Super close games, but we take a 5-0 to start this off. And again, I only had time for 2 sets, so we're getting into this next one here. And what the heck is this? This is low kicks. That's what it is. And I love people running low kicks. I think it's awesome. So I'm gonna stay in here because the opponent decides to switch out. Maybe their intention was just to see maybe a ground type in the back or something. So they're probably trying to get my Marowak out. So what I actually do here is I'm going to go for a drill run. I want to try and get shield advantage because if I can farm down this Drapion, I can come out of this with Rock Slides, which probably would have been the better play. But the thing is I would have ended up having to shield. So yeah, I don't know. I thought they might shield that drill run and it would at least put me up a shield. But in hindsight, either way, as long as I'm keeping the Drapion away from Corsola. And speaking of Corsola, it's shaking by the fact that there's literally 2 dark types here. I'm actually going to shield the low kicks here, and I want to make sure I go for the next Rock Slide. I think I actually could have baited again here, and I thought about it, but I'm like, it's probably not worth it. But I'm not getting to another move, unfortunately, after that Trailblaze. So, yeah, we're looking pretty grim here. Dugong's going to come in. I'm going to try to do as much damage as I can with just Ice Shards and try and save that shield for my Corsola here. X-Scissor is the move of choice. The opponent takes an Ice Shard or 2, gets them low. Corsola comes in. It doesn't matter what this is. It could be a Trailblaze, could be I don't even care. It's double boosted. It's going to hurt. Low kicks, going to go for it. The opponent has for Alligator. Nothing I could do about that. Good game to the opponent. Into the next battle against Toru Sensei, one of my Discord members, which if you're interested in joining the Discord, you get access to my teams and meta guides and all that other stuff that I do early before they hit YouTube. And it's a really awesome community as well in that Discord. You can join it by becoming a member of the YouTube channel or joining the Patreon. I know paywall thing. It's completely optional, of course. You're not missing out necessarily, but it is a lot of awesome benefits and perks for being in there, as well as early access, just a lot of my stuff. Now, opponent is going to make a really nice catch here on on their Azumarill. So I'm going to farm up as much energy as possible, and I'm going to try to actually go ahead and catch a move here on my Corsola. Corsola is the de facto answer on this team to Azumarill if it's in the back, if you can help it. Dugong can do well against it. The reason why I threw that Icy Wind here was because if you throw an Icy Wind into Azumarill here, you're actually going to be able to withstand the Play Roughs that follow. But that's okay, because we are just going to try to keep this going here. I'm going to be able to live another move. That's nice. And I'm going to just try to get this thing as low as I can. Again, leave myself as low as I can. We're going to get to 2 Nightshades here before we have to throw. HP bar is looking real thin here. If we can get rid of this Azumarill, this is at least Marowak feeling a little bit better about things. Now the opponent's going to end up coming in with the Drapion. They get the farm down, unfortunately, and I'm coming back in with Dugong with loaded energy. The opponent made a really nice catch earlier, but now I'm going to get this energy off, and they're going to have to shield, and then we're going to come in with the Marowak. Probably, I don't know. This is a weird one because I was thinking about staying with Dugong because I was so close to a move, but Marowak just needs to get in and start doing its thing. But I have to shield up anyway because they had so much energy. This is a really tough game, and honestly, I almost forgot about the fact that there was a third Pokemon in the back as I was playing this game. I don't know where my mind went, but I was like, oh man, I'm almost going to win this game. And then in comes the Feraligatr, and I'm like, okay. So opponent decides not to overfarm here, maybe wanted to make sure that he got the move off, all good. We're going to be able to now come in with our Dugong, and I'm hoping that I can catch this overfarm if he goes for it, but, or the catch if he goes for it, but I think he was still locked in. So we're going to go for the drill run. We are going to nearly be able to get rid of this thing. Well, we just need 2 more. And the thing is if he'd overfarmed, he'd be, I think, 2 away from the next Hydro Cannon. And so now we're going to be able to get our Dugong's energy into this Drapion as they had just thrown their second Aqua Tail. They were dry when they swapped. We're going to get the Icy Wind off and then 2 more Icy Winds, but it's a simultaneous knockout into this Trainer. That was a very well played game, very close. I think it could have gone either way depending on how that one fast move registered. Next game, Nightmare lead. Oh no, not another one. We have an Azumarill in the back. So now my thinking is, well, at least I know I can flip this. But every time I try to flip this, the opponent always goes for the 2 shields up approach, saying, you know what, you can have switch, but I want my shields. So I'm going to have to put up my shields. Is there someone in the comments, let me know if there's a cleaner way to play this Azumarill matchup, because I feel like there has to be, but I cannot seem to figure it out. I'm trying to CMP tie whenever they would have get to a move, but they overfarm here. So what I'm assuming is they just don't have Ice Beam. I'm taking switch advantage because I would like to put, I would love to keep my Dugong away from the Annihilate, and this is fine. We're going to be able to go for 1 Bone Club here. I might be able to get to 2 if the game is nice and gives me the damage registration error, which it might have. I think they had 1 turn bring in there, but I'm not going to get it this time. The opponent working, or the game working as intended. Now we're putting Corsola here on the Annihilate, and even though it has Rage Fists, I am very much happy, or I'm very, very much happier. I don't know, man. But they have a Bibarel in the back, so none of it really matters. I wasn't going to win by winning switch anyway, so good game. I was hosed, man. Next game, though. This is where the wins start rolling back in. We get another Annihilate, and I'm literally just sighing and sinking into my chair, saying, is this game cursing me or what? So, opponent's going to be throwing a Rage Fist right away at 6. That's fine. We can tank it. It is going to hit quite hard, but I am going to be able to get to a couple Bone Clubs in the time that it would take for the opponent to counter me down. So, I'm going to be throwing those Bone Clubs, even if the next one has to be on bad timing, which it looks like it's going to have to be, but we live, because the IVs on my Marowak are thankfully really good, and I'm so happy I caught this thing, man. I needed it so bad. But now we have 2 shields up. The opponent not swapping out of their Annihilate, wanting to boost it up, but now we're going to be able to shield a Rage Fist and farm down. The opponent, maybe realizing this, is going to swap into a Dunsparce, and the Core Breaker has descended upon me in the battlefield, and I am now up against it with something that could genuinely just destroy my face. But I have a shield advantage, and I'm going to try to keep Corsola healthy so it can at least tank a Rage Fist plus a Drill Run, maybe. Opponent's really low on their Annihilate, but I don't know how much energy they had exactly. I just know that they were like at 4 or 5, so they could be close enough to a move, who knows. But I'm going to be going for the Icy Wind. I'm shielding the first Rock Slide because this Icy Wind debuff will make it so that the next ones don't do as much. And now we've gotten to a point where the switch clock is coming up on the opponent's side because we threw that charge move. So I'm going to overfarm here a little bit, and they go ahead and swap. But just in case, I don't want to lose Dugong yet. I'm going to go ahead, and I'm just going to throw the Icy Wind here just to make sure we guarantee we get rid of it. And at this point, I'm thinking I could either try and, you know, make a swap, make a catch, and this is the game I forgot the Drapion was in the back. I'm like, okay, well, this is interesting. What are we going to do? We're going to go for the drill run. The opponent's going to be forced to throw energy here. And at this point, they're actually low enough that I'm hoping I could Astonish farm down. They threw right away on 5. So we're going to go for the Astonishes. 1, 2, 3. And we're going to be able to knock out before they get to a move. And then we just need to get this Power Gem into the Dunsparce. And even though Dunsparce is a normal type, it's still taking damage from this. And we're going to be able to take this game well played to the opponent. This team got around several, like, hard counters, like Annihilate in the lead with something really nasty in the back. In this game, we get the Azumarill lead, and this is where I'm going to go ahead and throw the Icy Wind into the Azumarill here to lower the attack. Now, I was thinking about this matchup earlier. I had the games confused in my head because they actually swapped out and caught on the Azumarill last time. So, Icy Wind here, we're going to get the debuff. The opponent is going to get out, and I'm going to go straight to my Kanto Marowak here, trying to keep it away from the Azumarill. I'm choosing what to counter swap here. Obviously, I could have maybe stayed in with Dugong, but then I wouldn't guarantee that I'm going to get switch advantage here. At least with the Marowak, I can get a farm down, and I can maybe get a couple Bone Clubs off and put their opponent's Azumarill down into a range where even a Drill Run potentially, or I might even get a shield, who knows. Once in a while, these are known to get shields. But Corsola now being aligned to the Azumarill here is really beneficial. I don't know what the third might be. It could be something like, you know, Diggersby potentially. So I'm actually going to switch into my Dugong here because it feels like a safe thing to do, and the opponent has a low kicks in the back. So yeah, I'm glad I swapped when I did, because even if they Trailblaze, it's debuffed now, and that's nice. So we're just gonna go ahead and just take it. I'm gonna do whatever I can here to try and secure a win. I know that low kicks, even though it does break my team a little bit here, it is quite squishy. So again, like we saw with the Drapion earlier with the Astonishes, I'm hoping maybe I can just get this thing low enough that we can Astonish down with it. Corsola is going to come in. We have a shield left. I'm going to let this one move go, because if it's a Trailblaze, it's actually not boosted. Now they're boosted. Or even back to normal, actually. But I'm going to expect them to swap to catch a move here. They look to do it, and they get a move off with the Azumarill. And so now what I need to do is I need to farm up to double moves, but I honestly forgot where they're at on energy. So I'm going to go ahead, go up to just a couple of Nightshades and swap right on the move here to force the energy off of my opponent. And thankfully we do, because they throw the play rough, and now we have the back-to-back Nightshades to secure the game. But I'm going to farm up just one more move so that I can get to Nightshade plus a Power Gem to guarantee the knockout against the Low Kicks. And Low Kicks is going to go down to the Power Gem, because I think they were at like 4 or 5 Sucker Punches. Not quite enough for a charge move, but taking out Low Kicks with the Power Gem, and that's going to be a good game. Well played. Even though the second set was not a necessarily positive one, as you're going to see, we literally gain 0. We lose 0, we gain 0. 2, 2, 1. Ties has that effect on the set. The team felt super strong in the time that I used it, and that second set was full of things that just completely destroyed me anyway. So I won't take too much stock in my losses there. I think this team is really strong, and I can highly recommend it to you guys as you make your final pushes towards Legend, Expert, your first time at Ace, whatever it is. I hope you know that I'm proud of you for making a new milestone, and I look forward to seeing you guys in the next video. Thank you as always. Bye-bye.